If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free, and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode?
Episode 86.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, I'm back. That's news all by itself. We talk about my goals for 2015, which you may be happy to know include a lot more podcasting. We also talk about the surprise I got when someone I never expected found my podcast and how that might actually affect you. And finally, we're going to talk a little bit about YouTube and how my little 7, just now turned 8-year-old son has been influenced by that amazing marketing engine. All this and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
All right. It's really great to be back. I have been making huge plans for 2015. We're going to talk about all those this week, and I hope that you've got some big plans for 2015 as well. I'd love to hear what those are, and I would love to hear what's going on with you either in the show notes or over on the Facebook fan page. You can find the show notes for this episode, just like every other episode, at latenightim.com/086 for this episode. It's always the episode number right after the domain name. Or you can always drop me a note over on Facebook at latenightim.com/Facebook. That's the easiest way to find me. I'd love to hear from you there. I try my very best to respond to each and every comment and post on Facebook. Personally, I'm not perfect about it, but I do try my very, very best. So I hope you guys had an absolutely fantastic holiday season. Of course, it's a huge holiday season here in the United States around December. And quite frankly, the day after Christmas, I got sick, and I'm not over it yet. I just went to the doctor recently, and I still don't feel great, but time was slipping away, and I felt like I had to muster enough energy to get an episode out there for you guys and let you know that in 2015, I have what I consider a very aggressive, for me at least, publication strategy plan. Let me tell you what I have planned for you so that you can take advantage of it. I am going to try, not actually try, do. There is no try, only do or not do. You can tell me who said that on Twitter. Tweet me at Mason World and tell me who said there is no try, only do or not do. Anyway, I am going to plan to actually publish a podcast episode every week, along with a video, usually from my car, every week. I've already published one of those this year, and I've got another one that'll be uploading later today. And I am going to be publishing some written content once a week. So that's 3 pieces of I hope, can't live without content. I get a lot of really good feedback on the videos. If you're not familiar with that, you can go to latenightim.com/video and you can see those YouTube videos. And if you like, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then in addition to that, I am bringing back the thing I started about this time last year. I'm going to bring back the very short format podcast, the Late Night Internet Marketing Minute, and that will also be published once a week. So that is the plan. Now, for those of you that have followed me for a long time, you know this is a very aggressive plan for me. This will represent sort of a stretch goal for me, something that I've never actually been able to successfully do. And that is simply to create content consistently. I've not been able to do that well because, I'm a part-time internet marketer. I have a big day job, as a lot of you know, and we're going to be talking about that big day job here in a minute. And, it's just hard for me to get everything in balance. I coach my son's basketball team. Actually, I'm the assistant coach because I know so little about basketball. It's kind of embarrassing. And baseball team. And of course, I'm involved in a lot of things that my daughter does. And so, heck, man, it's busy around here. So because of that, I just haven't been able to get this done, but I'm committed to do it. And one of the things that has really fired me up and gotten me kind of to the point where I feel like I can do this is this book called The Miracle Morning. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about this book. A lot of people are talking about it. In fact, the first time I heard about it was on a recent episode of the Smart Passive Income podcast. Really cool book. And it's all about, it's by this guy named Hal Elrod. He's got a very, very interesting personal story. And the book is all about how your expectations for how the day goes can be set by what you do in the morning, the routines that you have in the morning. And, morning is flexible. For me, morning has to be pretty early in the morning because, I'm up and running and going to my day job pretty early. But the idea is that you can set these routines in your morning, some very specific things that can really help you get done the things that need to be done and stay focused on the things that are important. It's a really excellent book. In fact, maybe we'll be able to get Hal on the show, but if you want to hear an excellent interview with Hal, I encourage you to go over and check out the Smart Passive Income podcast, and you can find that. It's just been a couple of weeks ago that Pat interviewed Hal. So I will put a link to that interview with Hal at Smart Passive Income in the show notes, but that is my plan for 2015. What are your plans for 2015? Let's hear about those in the comments on Facebook. And specifically, if there's something I can do to help you with your plans for 2015, let me know about it. Maybe you want to do a guest post on latenightinternet.marketing.com. Maybe I can help you by bringing you on and telling your story on the podcast. If there's something I can do to help you and it makes sense for my listeners, it's a win-win. Let's do it. So let me know. Okay, so you guys know that the bigger priority in my life than this show, which is incredibly important to me, is my day job, right? That's how I pay my light bills and all that kind of exciting stuff that I need to do. And so imagine my surprise. I get called into my HR manager's office. Not called into, but we have a standing meeting, and I'm planning to talk to my HR manager sort of about my current role in my company. I work for a large Fortune 500 company here in Dallas. And, I never talk about the actual name of that company on the show because I don't want anyone to ever be confused about, it's kind of the Scott Adams thing. Scott Adams was the Dilbert guy. He was also working for a very large company, and he tried to keep those two things separate. Although in Scott's case, he was actually writing about his company in many cases. My stuff is completely separate, and I try to keep it that way. It's like not crossing the beams in Ghostbusters. So I walk into this HR lady's office, and she's kind of a consummate HR professional. I have a lot of respect for her. I've worked with her for a long time, and we've accomplished good things together. And I was going in there to talk to her about me. So I sit down, and the first thing she says to me is, "I know a secret about you." And I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world could that be? And she said, "You have a podcast," which she immediately followed up with, "Hey, I'm cool with that. Don't worry about it." But it was the funniest thing. And apparently she was cruising around on iTunes, and she saw my face on the cover art because it said, "People who listen to this podcast might also like this," or whatever. And I was one of those podcasts that she might also like. I have no idea if she ever listened to an episode or if she will ever hear this episode, but I was relieved that she's super cool. And of course, it's a hobby like any other hobby. I mean, it's not something in my particular case that would cause any trouble with my employer. But one of the reasons that that I'm not worried about that is because of the parameters that I've set up. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this, that if you're doing an internet business as a side job, I think there's a couple of really simple rules that you should follow to make sure that you don't cross the beams and give your employer a reason to be upset that you have this thing going on the side. So thing number one, and I guess this is probably the most obvious thing, is don't work on your side business while you're supposed to be working on your real job. And since all of you have businesses of your own, or you're thinking about having businesses of your own, let me put it this way. How would you feel if you hired someone to do a task for you, put up a website, create some content, and they were billing you for that task, but about, during some point of that time, some of this money that you paid for during that work, or you were paying for them to work on someone else's project? How would that make you feel? Well, you'd be frustrated. You'd probably fire them, or at the very least, never use them again. I mean, you're not going to pay somebody to work on someone else's stuff. I mean, what if your lawn guy, what if you paid $50 a week for your lawn guy to mow your lawn, and it was by the hour, but for 20 minutes of that time, he was over raking your neighbor's yard for free? You wouldn't do that, right? I mean, that's not how it's supposed to work. So even if you can get away with it, which, in a lot of big companies, you can get away with all kinds of crazy stuff. Never, ever work on your side business during work hours. And it's easy to make it happen that way with the way you can schedule things in WordPress and schedule social media interactions with the Buffer app. It makes it really easy. Maybe you decide that during your lunchtime, you're going to take a sack lunch and you're going to go down to the park where there's free Wi-Fi and work on your business. That's fine. That's your own time. If your employer lets you out for lunch, that's great. But don't sit at your desk or be on your phone during your work shift working on your internet business. I think that's pretty clear. The other thing that I think is important is don't use any of your company's resources in order to make your business more profitable. And I mean, don't go in late at night and use their copy machine. Don't you go in and use their internet services. Don't use their computers. Don't use their brand in any way. Don't use things that you know from your day job in order to make your brand better. Maybe you're in some related business to what your company does. Don't use that information to give yourself an edge in your side business. All of those things, if you were working for me, would be reason for me to raise an eyebrow. So don't do those things. Make sense and try and be able to draw a bright line between what you're doing in your day job and what you are doing in your side gig. And if you can't do that, I think that's when you need permission from your management, hopefully in writing, that what you're doing is okay. Because if you can't draw that bright line, then you need them to tell you it's okay. If you can draw the bright line, then it's just something that you do at your house, and it's not really, it shouldn't be really too much of their concern. Now, if you work in Texas like I do, you can be fired for any reason. And so, another thing that you might have to worry about, if you have a gay rights podcast where you're talking about how great it is to be part of the gay community, and you work for Chick-fil-A, you might have a problem. And so that's another kind of thing you need to talk about, is make sure that if you are doing something that is not well aligned with the values of your employer, that you're prepared to deal with the consequences of that if that bugs them. I think this is particularly true if you're in management, but I imagine it would be true for almost anyone, depending on how big the gap was. If you're in a right to work state, they don't have to employ you. You have, that's also right to fire. So that brings me to my last tip. And I get this question a lot in affiliate marketing, because a lot of times in affiliate marketing, you need to have an identity online. It helps build trust. And the question is, should you use your name? Now, obviously, I use my name. It's my real name. You don't have to use your real name. One option that you can use is to use some kind of cartoon name, like Podcast Answer Man. Now, of course, Cliff, everyone knows the Podcast Answer Man is Cliff Ravenscraft, but he could just be Cliff the Podcast Answer Man, and he would never have to tell anyone who he was. Now, with a guy like Cliff, he in the past has done a lot of personal consulting, and he's building a brand around who he is. And so obscuring his name is not conducive to the kind of transparent brand that he's trying to build. Same thing with Pat Flynn. There's no way that Pat Flynn, Mr. Transparency, is going to be able to successfully feel good about not telling people his real name. But if you got a really good reason, like you don't want your employer to know what you're doing, hey, you make up a name and a picture and and if you're ever asked, tell people, no, that is not my real name. I have to work anonymously because I have some other things going on in my life that require me to do that, and go that way if you feel like you need to do that. Or a compromise would be, no, that's not my real name, but anyone who would like to know my real name and has a need to know, I'm happy to tell them. That's the kind of way you can go, and just be completely transparent about the fact that you're not operating under your real name and why. You might even put it under your about page. Say, nope, this is not my real name. A lot of times I hear about women who choose to do this because they feel like they could be targeted by some kind of crime. And I think that's smart. I don't think there's a problem with that. But I think transparency there is a good thing as well. So I thought you guys would enjoy that story. And I hope that that helps you if you're dealing with similar questions in your business.
It's time to get to work building your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about definitely was this conversation that I had with my now just turned a few days ago 8-year-old son, who tied for 4th in the school spelling bee, by the way. Congratulations, big guy. I wanted to talk about a conversation that I had with him about his YouTube. Every morning, he gets up and watches YouTube. Now, we have a very pretty strict policy about what he can watch. And my son is a rule follower, and he does exactly what he's told most of the time on stuff like that. So, but we monitor it as well. But he watches what he's allowed to watch. And his favorite game is and has been for a couple of years now Minecraft. And if you haven't played Minecraft is a very interesting game. It's got kind of throwback graphics, and it reminds me a lot of Legos, and you build things. So there's an enormous amount of creativity, but you build it under the stress of having to fight zombies and skeletons and big spiders and stuff like that. And you can create these worlds. So that's really neat. Resources are finite and you have to go find them. That's really cool. It's also got a creative mode where there's no one's attacking you and you can just build amazing things. And then in addition to that, it's a pretty open platform and has been extended tremendously. People run these servers with all kinds of different kinds of challenge games that you can play. So there's this big Minecraft universe out there. It's very impressive. In fact, it's so impressive that Microsoft recently bought the company. So as a Mac guy, that makes me very nervous, but I think hopefully they won't mess it up. Anyway, so my son, when we were learning how to play Minecraft 2 years ago, we ran across this guy. I've talked about him a little bit on the show before, Paul Soares Jr. Now, Paul Soares Jr. Is a guy who had a day job and started making videos about how to play Minecraft. And he did something that was really amazing. He educated people at the same time he was entertaining them. And he set himself apart from most of the other YouTube videos at the time in two ways. He produced pretty high quality stuff. His audio was good. He had a plan for his videos. They were, well thought out. In fact, he had several, he had tutorial types of videos, and then he had these kind of drama storyline types of videos where he would pretend to be on some adventure in Minecraft, like on a survival adventure. All of these were very interesting. In fact, they're so interesting that they held my attention as a 40-something-year-old guy, and my young son was completely mesmerized by this. So he set himself apart from the market by doing something that was uniquely good. It entertained, it educated, and the production quality was very high. And it was safe for kids. It was clean. And he was the one, because his competition was a lot of teenagers dropping F-bombs on YouTube. Because his competition was that, boy, we gravitated to Paul. And he is the guy that we allow Zach to watch. And he puts out videos at an amazing rate. And he's expanded from Minecraft. He does a lot of video game stuff now. In addition to Minecraft, he does reviews new games that are coming out. And all of that has led to a situation where Paul's channel has over 1 million subscribers. I'm not talking about views. I don't know what the views are. It's tens of millions of views by now, maybe more. 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So what did Paul do to do that? Well, he found something that he was interested in. He thought about how to do it well, and he just did it. And he put himself out there, and he did the thing. There's no other real significant amount of promotion. He's experimented with some websites related to it and some forums and stuff. But from what I can see, it's not like he's out there marketing these YouTube videos significantly. He's gotten book deals as a result of this and all other kinds of craziness. He's widely considered, the expert in the area of Minecraft, to him and like 3 or 4 other guys. I mean, this guy has established himself as the world's leading expert by producing amazing content, couple of videos a day usually. And by this time now, he's left his day job, as far as I know, and he's got the stuff going full time. I contacted him one time to thank him on Twitter to thank him for putting out family friendly stuff. And one of the most flattering things I have ever heard he said to me, he said, I know your podcast and Pat's podcast are one of the things that I listened to when I was getting started on this adventure. And that made me really happy. It's always flattering to be mentioned with Pat, but to think that there's at least one guy out there that I helped a little bit get something like this going. I mean, even if he only listened to 35 seconds of one episode, I am super thrilled for that. So the meaning for you is, if you are trying to do something, Paul is doing the thing that I always tell you that you need to do. He's adding value. In this case, he adds entertainment value and he educates people. One of his most popular videos is how to survive your first night in Minecraft, which is targeted at people who just downloaded Minecraft and they need to know how to make it through the first 24 hours of the game, which lasts 20 or 30 minutes. If you don't know what to do, you get eaten by zombies, which is not good. Very painful. They eat your brain, all that. So that's Paul, and that's what you can do in your business. You can do what Paul did. You can look for a place to add value, and maybe you pick YouTube, maybe you blog, maybe you have a podcast, maybe you create an amazing website. whatever it is that you do, you want to add value to people that they come back to. And in Paul's case, most of his stuff most of his direct monetization, at least to my knowledge, is through the ads on YouTube. But of course, as I mentioned, this is leading to all kinds of other side stuff for Paul as well. And who knows what'll happen now that the deep pockets of Microsoft are in the loop. So we love Paul, and hopefully we'll get him on the show someday to talk about this. He's a little bit hard to pin down, but understand what you can learn from a guy like that could get you to some equivalent of 1 million YouTube subscribers. So with all this discussion about Paul, I asked my son about Paul, about why he watches the videos, what he thinks. And we had a little discussion I think it was around Christmas, New Year's Day, maybe, I can't remember. But we had a little discussion about all of this. And so I thought I'd put some pieces of that in here because it's very revealing, because this is a guy, I mean, he's, like I said, he just turned 8 years old. He's going to tell you the truth about, what he's thinking when he watches these videos on YouTube. Hey, Zachary. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How's it going, man?
Good.
So today is the first day of the year.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? We're going to do anything special for the new year? Sometimes we eat black-eyed peas. Do you like black-eyed peas?
No.
Why not?
No. I don't know.
But they bring us luck.
No, they don't.
You don't believe in luck?
I don't believe in black peas bring you luck. I believe in other luck.
You know what? I don't believe black-eyed peas bring you luck either, but I eat them just in case.
I don't even think I like them.
I don't think you like them either. So we got up early this morning, right? I got up at 5. Yeah. What time did you get up?
6:35.
Was it that late? Seemed earlier. Yeah. What was the very first thing you did when you got up?
This morning was kind of different. The laptop was unplugged, so I found that out. So I tried to find a plug. I couldn't, but then I realized it was right behind the couch, so I just plugged it in there and then started watching videos. Oh,
so you watch YouTube every morning?
Yeah.
What do you watch?
Videos from Paul Soares Jr. mostly.
So who is this Paul Soares Jr. guy? What does he talk about?
Minecraft and a bunch of other games. One of the ones he's doing a lot right now is Starbound and Escapists. So
you watch his videos pretty much every day?
Yeah.
How many videos does he come out with?
I don't know, but he has over 1,000 viewers.
Yeah, I think way over 1,000 viewers, right? Maybe way over 1 million viewers.
That's right.
So, what was it? So he does Minecraft, but not just Minecraft, is that right?
That's right.
Now, why do you watch him? What do you like about him? I mean, what makes you like to watch him?
He does really cool videos. He can be really funny.
So he makes videos about games that you're interested in, and I mean, why? What do you get out of it? Why do you like it, or what's the deal?
It's entertaining. I learn things like...
Oh, I'm looking at his channel now. That's 1 million subscribers to Paul's YouTube channel. See that? That's 2 commas. That's 1,036,000 and something. I'm
looking at all his series. Mad Pack, he hasn't been doing that in a while.
So what is Mad Pack?
Mad Pack is like a mad version of Minecraft.
So why...
Everything is mad. If you punch a cow, it will come attack you.
So why do you like his videos? What is it about his videos? How come you watch his and not someone else's? What makes you choose Paul? Why do you choose his videos?
Well, he doesn't say a lot of bad words.
Okay, so that's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
One reason is simply that I let you watch his videos because he is family friendly, right?
And another reason is because you know him, kind of.
Yeah, but you like his videos, right?
Yeah.
Why?
They're really cool and funny sometimes, and
so they entertain you.
Yeah.
But do you also learn things from his videos?
Yes.
Yeah, so they
not like math, but like how to download them, how to get good stuff in them.
Yeah, so how to play the games, right?
Yeah.
So they're fun to watch, they're entertaining, and you learn things, right?
Yes.
Anything else? Are they boring or exciting?
Usually exciting. I've ran into a few escapist videos and like captive Minecraft videos that are very boring. I don't even.
So you don't watch those?
No.
You skip them?
Well, I usually watch escapists, but I never really watched captive Minecraft.
I see. Okay. Well, there you go. So would you say that what makes Paul's videos good are that you learn things and they're fun to watch?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much it, right? Otherwise you wouldn't watch them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Can you tell all my listeners Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.
And what do you hope for them in the new year? Like if you could give them a wish, what would you give them? Like if you were magic and you could say, I hope that you have a great year, or I hope that you have great health during the year, or I hope that you have peace, or
I hope that you have a great time.
You hope that they have a great time. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
And especially today.
Especially today. All right, dude. Thank you very much. Thanks for being on the show.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
And by the way, if you're wondering about, what's the economic power of an 8-year-old? The 8-year-old has parents with credit cards and Amazon accounts. We have bought a boatload of Minecraft stuff over the last couple of years. So, don't be afraid. Make sure you understand what market you're targeting, and don't be afraid to target mom and dad's money, because that works sometimes too. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little piece with Zach. He's a super smart, fun kid, and he makes my life a lot better every day. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to give a shout out to all of you who have left reviews on iTunes. Now that I am serious about bringing back this short format podcast, getting 50 or more episodes of this podcast out in 2015, I am definitely looking for iTunes reviews. Go to latenightim.com/iTunes. Leave me a review. Tell your friends who got brand new iPhone 6s for Christmas to subscribe. What my understanding is that 51% of the activations on the 24 hours following Christmas Day here in the United States were iPhones specifically. That means 6s and 6 Pluses mostly. And of course, the podcast app is on the front page. Podcasting is growing like crazy, and iTunes results help me tremendously. Specifically, I always like every week to pick out someone who's left a review and say thank you. And for this week, I pick Coach Brady, who is actually a friend of mine who lives down the street. He coaches my son's basketball team, and he just listens to my show because he finds it interesting. He doesn't do anything in the internet marketing space. Either that or he's just being nice. I'm not sure which, but Coach Brady, thanks so much for listening. Really appreciate the review and the feedback. And again, if you guys want to help me out and leave a review on iTunes, you can find me at latenightim.com/iTunes. By the way, had many requests. I only had 50 episodes showing in iTunes. I think I fixed that now. I think by the time you hear this, if not in the next couple of days, you'll be able to see the entire back catalog all the way back to episode 1. So for those of you that were wanting to go back and hear those very early episodes in 2009, you should be able to do that now. Until next week, and I plan to release these episodes on Thursdays, God willing, and the river don't rise, as we say here in Texas. Until next week, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. I hope you do exciting things, whatever it is, whatever the reason is that you're listening to this podcast. I want you to get something accomplished between now and when you hear the sound of my voice again, because I am going to ask you about it next week. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon. I'm Mark Mason from LateNightInternetMarketing.com. Ciao.
You can do it. It's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit latenightpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
All right, so we have a lot of computers around here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
We have
kind of
like 8 or 9.
we're like computer geeks, right?
Yeah.
So, have you ever thought about having your own YouTube channel like Paul does?
Start a YouTube channel this summer or maybe next summer. Or the summer after. I don't know when. But I think maybe pretty soon.
Why wait? Why not just go ahead and do it now?
I don't know. I'm still like I haven't learned to edit or anything.
So you need help from your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know your dad. I think I can get him to help you.
You are.
Oh, wait, I am your dad. Okay, that's cool. So what would your YouTube channel be about? It would be about Minecraft?
Yeah.
So you'd be competing with Paul?
No.
No, why not?
Not really. What do you mean by computing?
Well, if people had to choose whether to watch Paul's videos or your videos...
I'm not doing that. I'm just...
Yours would be different?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do, like, test drives, like, all in Minecraft videos.
That sounds cool.
I'm gonna probably be focusing on Minecraft because that's easiest for me.
You know a lot about Minecraft, don't you?
Yeah.
And didn't you? And you learned a lot of it from Paul, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. You think we should get Paul on the show?
Yeah. And when I do come out with my YouTube channel, I'll probably be on the podcast again and look on YouTube for Zachy1307 because that's my Minecraft username.
Yeah.
And
okay, that sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah.
All right, we'll look for your YouTube channel this summer. Yeah. How about when you get your YouTube channel up and running this summer, you come back on the show and tell the listeners about it, and maybe we can get some of them to go watch your videos.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me in 2007 when I was trying to get started. There were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet. And I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation, send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet marketing.